kids, welcome back to Roto Talk.
Kids, welcome back. It's a semi-beautiful day out. It's really muggy, and but it's nice. It's better than it was. We were having tornado watches and all that. And it was pouring down rain today, so I thought, we're not going to be able to do our super sport, but we will. But first we're going to go over a couple little funny things. And yeah, mostly funny things. So you might want to skip all this part unless you're just really bored and want to watch me talk. So I've got a friend in the boat group, the guy whose engine we worked on the other day, George. He's always sending me crazy stuff. He's funny. And I got this in the mail today. He's like, "Hey JJ, you need some boat weights. You know, it's like for when we're clamping and stuff." He goes, "I got a bunch of this lead, and I'll send it to you." And I'm like, "Okay." So he bought one of those post office boxes that if it fits, it ships for a certain amount. And I'm not flipping this box over just because it's got our addresses on it and everything, but this thing weighs an absolute shit ton for the size it is. It's a solid lead. I know the guys are pissed. They didn't make it past my garage. They didn't even put it to the doorstep. They just this guy sends me wads of Velcro and just crazy funny stuff. But I, might be able to use this. So he put in, this was smart. Use that for a boat. Look at all these little lead weights. I don't know why he has all these ingots of lead, layer after layer after layer. So thank you, Brother George. I appreciate it. I will actually use these. Nothing else, I can melt them down and make them into something else. The other thing, hang on. The other thing that's funny, last year, my yard's fairly big. You guys have seen most of it. And all of a sudden I started losing my garden tractor in these big holes. Now, I've got more chipmunks than Carter's got pills, right? I mean, they literally run across my feet in the shop here all the time. Okay, not much I can do about that because there's like 8 billion of them. That's fine. Then we got muskrats. They leave holes in the yard about that big down by the water. Yeah, okay. There's enough activity. Those have kind of gone away. They stay on the other side of the lake. But moles. Okay. So this is my first, I'm 49, and this is actually my first experience with moles ever. And so I have a friend, my wife's best friend's husband. He's like, "Oh yeah, get these scissor traps and blah, 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 blah." I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm trying to catch these frickin' moles. And my two little daughters, my oldest one especially, she's 11, she sees these traps. They're pretty vicious looking. They're big scissor, spring-loaded things you stick in the ground. "Daddy, I don't want you killing them. They're cute." And I'm like, ugh. For fuck's sake. So I actually set an alarm on my phone, so I put the trap in when they go to school, and then at 3 o'clock I pull the traps out. But anyway, long story short, the other day I finally, boom, the trap goes up. Now I have a big yard. It's almost an acre, and most of it's vertical, going down to the water. So I'm like, all right. So I'm the only moles I've seen, like in real life in person, were like this big. They were babies, but I didn't know that. I thought that's how big a mole was. I pulled a freaking dog out of the ground. I swear to God, this thing was this big. I'm not lying. I wish I would have taken a picture of it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm just standing, staring at it. My wife's like, "Dude, what?" And I go, "This is a freaking mole?" I mean, it seriously looked like a mink or something. So anyway, I pitched the thing, and that was the only mole. I mean, I haven't seen any more tracks. And these tracks went all over the hill, all over the lake, all over the roadside by the field here. And no other tunnels, no other traps have gone off. It's just this one mole did that much damage. Ugh, industrious little shit. So anyway, that's JJ's funniness with nature. I'm a techie guy. I'm not. I've lived in the country all my life, but I'm not a country boy. Hang on a second. All right. So the other thing that I love is we did the video of this yesterday, the SS, and I said, we're just going to run it. It was too windy to really. I just want to get used to the boat. Today it's still pretty windy, but the lake isn't nearly as choppy. So we're going to do some dialing in because I got a bunch of buddies in my talk group, my chat group, that have built SSs because of this video. well, because of last year's video of the build, and they want to know how to dial these things in. And even though this is my third SS that I've owned, this is probably the first one I've really taken time to really get it going. You know, the other ones are just bashers. So, first correction is this engine I bought off of a friend of mine in the group. And I bought it new. He had bought it, and I don't think he had used it. And this is a Zenoa. This is a Gizmo Motors 30++. I'll put a link in the description to this engine. It's not the cheapest motor in the world. So they say, Gizmo does, and it has a bonsai head on it, I believe. Somebody in the comments, thanks brother, you pointed that out. It's a bonsai. I actually think it's the guy who always points out my mistakes. I got to remember your name so I can thank you. I make a lot of mistakes. I think he said this is a bonsai head, and it's a 30++. I verified that with Jeffy today. Shout out. Yeah, it's not for the faintest of hearts. It's fairly expensive, like about the same price as a Redline. Seems to be a pretty good, nice motor though. Billet case, you know, very nice. But anyway, so that's that correction there. And the motor still needs a little bit of run in yet, but for the most part, she was running really good yesterday. So anyway, I did that video, and I emailed Joe, Uncle Joe at ZippKits, because I know he's busy getting out new models and stuff. I know he is. He's told me. And I said, hey, in case you miss it, I put up this video of the SS. I think I know what to change, but I want your expert advice. And he said, so he watched the video, and here's a posting of what he said. I'll go ahead and put that up right here. So he says, the tabs and fins, here's the way I set them up. Use a straight edge on the bottom, make all the tabs perfectly parallel to the bottom. If the tabs are a 16th off the bottom, there should be a 16th gap, the full length of the tab along the straight edge. You can't eyeball this, as 1/10 of an inch will make it noticeable difference. 10,000, sorry. Check and double check all 4 tabs. They must be completely parallel with the bottom. Use that straight edge to make sure the stinger is also parallel to the bottom as well. No need for any stinger angle. I know for a fact I'm wrong on mine. My stinger angle's up. I know it is. It's positive. Once all the tabs are parallel, raise the left inner tab 1/2 of a turn. This gets rid of the right lean, and that's it. If you want to make the boat more loose or tighter, adjust only the inner tabs and always keep the 1/2 turn difference. You should never need to adjust the tabs more than 1/2 a turn either way unless something is wrong, which with my build there probably is. Full throttle until the race is over. If you think that rudder is too long, try a short rudder while there are 5 other boats out there. See which one goes around the corner in the white caps and which one is upside down. Signed, Uncle Joe. And I think it's hilarious that he signs it Uncle Joe, because I'm pretty sure, aside from his niece and nephews, I'm the only one that calls him that. So shout out to you. Thank you for your input, brother. I was right in what I was thinking, that I said, hey, you know, it's probably this, that, you know, the tabs. But my stinger is, I know for a fact it's angled. You can see it easily. It's pitched up. All right. I'm also going to, for the time being, prop up the left turn fin. All this does enable us to turn left much better, of course. For a race boat, you would never do this. For a sport rider like mine, you would. But I think we might raise this up for now, or take it off totally for now, just to see the effect that it has. And you saw yesterday it was turning perfectly fine. And we'll just turn it into a lap monkey for today. I probably will put it back on, but whatever, you know. And he said also, I asked him about the rudder, because I usually do cut down my rudders, but hear me out before you do that. I don't race, and I run on in a very controlled environment. Okay, I don't have, I'm taking the fin off, I don't have you know, white caps usually on this little water that I run on, and things like that. And he said, when the email that he sent me is a little bit different than the message, when you're running and you come up, if your rudder comes out, you have zero control, right? So your boat can get squirrely on you. So I'm going to leave this one full length, and I knew that, but I'm not planning on running this on the big lake, only here probably, just because it's an easily swamped boat. And when I run at my mom's lake, I'm an idiot, bigger idiot than I am here. So we'll go ahead and leave it on. But I am going to take off that turn fin. I'm going to grab a straight edge. And also, he said in that email that that turn fin has to be exactly 90 degrees parallel to the bottom. Not 98, or not 91, not 89, 90 degrees perfectly. So I'm going to true that up. I'm going to zero everything out perfectly, okay? And then I'm going to set that trim tab to what it was. Or what he said, which was, what was it, half turn or turn, whatever. I'm going to set it up exactly like that, and I'll come back, I'll show you with the straight edge that I did that all, and then we'll take her down to the water and we'll test it, and we'll adjust it from there. I tend to like my boats a little bit loose. I'm used to skiffs. I probably run skiffs more than any other boat style, period, that I have, and I have a lot. I run it more than catamarans. I run it even more than crackers, usually. I love crackers, too, and those tend to run a little loose as well. But, yeah, so your inner tabs, you can see you've got, by inner tab, that's the inner tab, outer tab, inner tab, outer tab. But I like my boats. I sound like a Canadian. Boots. I like mine a little bit loose more than tight. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up. We'll come right back, and I'll show you what I did. Be right back. All right, welcome back. So I got everything as good as I can get it. I had to move around the trim tabs, raise them up. I had everything all jacked up. I had about 5 degrees positive stroke on that Stinger, which made it even more wild, which we saw in the video yesterday. I backed off the inner left tab half a turn, like he said. I seriously doubt that my building skill is that accurate, but Uncle Joe knows it better than me. And I also adjusted that trim tab or turn fin as well as I could at 90. I also, like I said, turned off the left one. Took off the left one. Man, I can't talk. So, looks like we have absolutely perfect water for this. We've got nice tight ripples going across. Very cool. So we should get some really good surface tension, lack thereof, hopefully. And that's it. So let's take this thing down to the water, fire it up. Keep fingers crossed for me. See you in a minute. All right, here we go. So we're same tunings we had in yesterday. Always check your fail-safe, kiddos. So I had a guy message me on email and ask, he's in I think can't remember what they're called. There's some acronym for it. It's real windy again. And he asked me to do a video on fail-safes. I'm going to do that either tonight or tomorrow. How to set a fail-safe, why it's important. And also I'm going to throw in radio battery charging and maintenance and the types and whatnot. So we're going to see how our little changes go. Okay. Gas is on, belt is up, new engine. I'm not even going to bother pull starting a cold engine. Nah. All right, here we go. Oh, you bitch.
We're waiting.
Now, like I've said before, thankfully I got a good rescue boat. Like I said before, new engines, especially mod engines, are very painful. God, I can't talk today. Very painful until they're really set in. Like, pull starting is going to be a bitch. In that case, I didn't have my engine nearly warm enough to launch. So let's try it again. Exact same settings we had yesterday, so everything should be fine. Not worried about that. Fresh gas. Okay. Let her warm up a little bit more. Try it again. Oh yeah. Look at that. I might have water on the camera, so we're gonna bring it in. I'm gonna clean off that camera. Wow. Whoa, that was cool. Be right back. All right, so needless to say, we ingested water. So we're gonna get this guy out. And what I do usually, first thing I do is I dry off my spark plug. I just put it on my shirt. Okay, no big deal. Then I hold it vertical. I want all the water out of that pipe. Then I pull, pull, pull. Then I flip it upside down and do it. Okay. Now, you cannot start it yet. See all that water just came back out? Okay. Now, I just heard it go back in. So now what I'm going to do, this is why I use electric starters, kids. We're going to put this towel, which I think somebody thought was an American flag yesterday. It is not. He's like, why is that flag on the ground? That's disrespectful. No, it's just beach towel, dude. All right. I would never leave the flag on the ground. So, here we go. Watch. No plug. Do that with a towel you don't care about. Okay, now what I do is I put the plug in a couple of turns and then fire it up. Because if there's still water in there, you don't want a hydro lock. If you get a hydro lock in there and use an electric start, you got too much water in there under the piston, it'll blow the connecting rod. You'll have all sorts of problems, especially with the modded engine. Frustrating. Now I'm ready to put this back in. You got to understand that water is not super hot. It's still spring, so this engine instantly got cooled off. So we got to warm it up again. Clean that off later. Let's see if it'll start my hand. I seriously doubt it. Gotta get used to this now. Just gonna drive it slow for a second. Okay. No death wobble anymore. I'm gonna turn left, no turn fin, turns just fine. I wouldn't go full speed. So I'm going to bring it by us and do full speed turn. Got to get used to how this thing handles now. I got used to yesterday's settings. I like that buoy. I'm going to bring it in, because I think I messed up my rudder hitting that buoy. Not too bad. Alright. Let's see what we got here. Yep, see that? There's a shear pin, and that's what they're for. Show you what I'm talking about. See that? I told you the other day, that buoy, that's a boat buoy, or like the actual buoy that the boats go through, the big boat. They are made out of hard plastic, and that shear screw sheared, and that's what its job is. So you replace it with another shear screw, or else you lose your prop. So we are going to go get, it's just so funky getting used to this now, because yesterday I could just like really, my nose was so high, I could turn pretty dang sharp and it didn't dig, but now I have to be careful. Not used to that. So I guess I'll go grab another screw and fix this. Don't think I've got one down here. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, so we got our new shear pin in there, and that again was from hitting that hard ass plastic buoy. Now, since we got a couple tanks of gas through this thing now, I'm gonna try leaning it out a little bit. I'm gonna bring my low down. I'm gonna open it a little bit because my idle's pretty high, and then I'm gonna give this guy about 5 degrees. All right. Let's see if I can't screw this up again. Okay. We're just going to electric. See what happens. Don't forget to hook your battery up. Uncle Joe definitely was right, man. Wow. Thing is so freaking quick. It doesn't look as fast in the videos. I have no left turn fin on here and it's going pretty good. Now, the other thing to mention is when I hit that buoy, it knocked my right turn fin a little bit too. I have not, I eyeballed it. Wow. Thing's nuts. I love it. Look at that. Still turns left, just don't goose it left. You will spin out. I'm just doing high-speed passes. No death wobble. All right, I'm gonna bring it in again and lean it out just a touch, see if we gain anything. I like the idle. I would call that pretty much perfect. Okay. I don't know, like, now here's another thing. With Zenoas, or any type of model engine, even nitro, most of the time, the longer you run a new engine, the faster it's going to go. So by this time next week, if I run this machine a little bit more, I'm going to bring my high back up, or my low a touch. It should increase speed. Once it gets set in, it makes a noticeable difference. Okay, another 5 degrees. Oh, another bad launch. Now watch. See that? That's how your Super Sport will sink. Be right back. I'm leaving that part in. The reason I'm screwing that up is yesterday's video, I noticed I got water on the camera. And when I launched, was trying to avoid that, and I was going like that. I wasn't paying, it's my fault. Plus the header's right there, so you got to be a little careful. Anyway, my bad. Get her warmed up again. I love this freaking boat though. Thing's awesome. There she is. Those are the jump buoys. I'm not used to those being there. Now, what I can't tell is if that speed change, that needle change made any difference. I think I'm going to leave it as it is right now. Run it for a week or a few days. But as far as how the hull's riding, now you got to remember, it's also really windy out here. As far as the hull's riding, I love it. Look at that. No death wobble at all. Uncle Joe nailed it, man. He knew exactly what to do. I did exactly what he wrote. Still turns left. I'll probably leave that turn fin off, honestly. It just adds drag. So what we'll do, we'll come back to this later in the week. We're probably going to do the G48 outboard video this week. Actually, I'm going to fatten it back up. See how it skidded out turning left? That's because of no fin. Might fatten it back up a little bit. See how the throttle response is. Yeah. Pretty lousy. Yeah. I'm out of gas. All right, so I'll go out there and get that, obviously. So yeah, I'm gonna fatten that back up just a touch and then take it from there. I'll run it a few more times this week and that'll be it. Then we'll take it out again, maybe this weekend. My wife's shooting a wedding. She's a photographer. She's shooting a wedding over at the wedding venue, so maybe I'll run it during that time. But anyhow, Uncle Joe, you frickin' nailed it, dude. I mean, it's like, I did exactly what he said, and it's like, boom, death wobble's gone. Boom, faster. Everything's better on it now. Fricking fantastic. So, thank you, Uncle Joe, for chiming in and helping us all. And until the next time, which will be probably tomorrow, guys, keep your dry side up. Bye.